Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the founder of wigs.com, and she's going to talk about what they're doing to raise awareness about breast cancer and solutions for the hair loss community. Her journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team. And the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, when you think about hair loss, for some men, just aging gracefully is fine, but for many women out there, it can be traumatic to have hair loss, and especially if you have a condition like alopecia or, God forbid, breast cancer. Having a full head of hair can make the difference between feeling good about yourself and not wanting to go out. To talk about that today, Carliz Moore. She is the CEO and founder of wigs.com. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm so impressed with you. I want to hear your journey. How did it start for you?
Well, I would love to have a really romantic story about how I had a grandmother who suffered with hair loss, and we went to wig shops and had a horrible experience, and I was compelled to start this, but it's really not how it happened. We were looking for just a niche market that wasn't properly represented in the e-commerce space, and this was definitely one of them. The hair loss community didn't have a place where they could go online and look for wigs or hair solutions that was anything short of a catalog online. There wasn't anything. So the experience for, especially if you're new to losing your hair, for buying wigs or looking for wigs was traumatic because there wasn't a place where you could go and privately look for something that would fit you. It's hair, shoes, belts, lipsticks. Women know.
Wow.
We all know what kind of lipstick works for us. But hair, that's something different. You're born with it. You do your own hair, but when you lose it, it's very traumatic, and education needs to come with buying hair or a solution. So we started the website because there was a huge gap in that space, and we wanted to bring the beauty part out. Before we started, for the most part, all the websites, anything online had a mannequin with a wig on it, and it was very inanimate and impersonal, and I probably only added to the anxiety if you were looking for hair. So we wanted to bring beauty to it because at the end of the day, our hair is an accessory and helps us feel more confident about what we look like. So that's how we started, very small, about almost 22 years ago.
Wow.
And it just grew from there because there was a need, and we were answering a need that I think women had to have.
I was so impressed that you got the domain name wigs.com.
We didn't start with that. No, we were wigs.net,
Okay.
and in the first few years, we really just kind of set our sights on owning that and purchased it from the owner, and that did help us a lot.
It's amazing. And we're going to go, you have a beautiful website, and we're going to go down the
you.
website and kind of scroll down and look at this. And I think one of the points that we want to make here is this is not your grandma's wig company. And we all remember, seeing, older Americans with bad wigs. And these days, talk about the advances in hair solutions.
The technology has completely changed, and you're right. I remember when I was little, my mother used to wear, back in those days, they would wear these little, I don't even know what they were called, but they would like bump up the volume, and that was a big deal back there. they looked like a squirrel tail on top. I remember looking over the counter and it looked like a little squirrel tail laying on the
Sure.
counter. The hair, the fiber, it just was not what it is today. The advancements today, it's challenging to see the difference between real human hair and some of the really good synthetics out there. So it isn't, and it's one of the campaigns we did,
Sure.
is this not your grandma's wigs? It is very different, and many celebrities and people you see where you almost admire how beautiful their hair is, most of them are wearing something, whether it
Sure.
be a topper, which is a top piece that gives you fullness and a little length, or a full-on wig or hair extensions. So most people whose hair looks gorgeous in the public eye, they have some kind of help there. And
I think something else has changed. It's become almost a status symbol. I know as I'm out with my wife and she sees a girlfriend, the girlfriend will brag about her hair extensions. Ideas about hair solutions have changed, hasn't they?
absolutely, thankfully, yes. It used to be what I call the ew factor, because wigs were unfortunately associated with either being really old or being sick, because that demographic had to wear them, even when they were kind of crappy. Can I say crappy?
Yeah.
Even when they were,
You just did.
I guess I did. Even when they were substandard and didn't look natural. But now that they do, I mean, thankfully I still have plenty of hair. I wear them when I want to, red hair is my favorite. And I wear them for pure fashion reasons. But the thought of wearing a wig for many women was this, ew, or, aw, it's so sad. And now, thanks to a lot of celebrities that are really open about wearing their wigs and hair, it's really become very normal. The only challenge now is so many women don't know how to wear them, don't feel comfortable, because when you put a wig on, you're putting a perfect style on your hair. So you look in the mirror and it doesn't look natural to you because, well, it isn't. And you have perfect hair for once, right? And so you feel a little uncomfortable, but it can change everything. Confidence, I mean, that's what's beautiful. I think even women that God made beautiful, if they're not confident, they're not going to come across as beautiful. When you're confident, that kind of gives you that feeling of, I look my best, I feel my best. And I do think that wigs and hair pieces can do that for a woman.
Absolutely. Let's talk about cancer, because obviously one of the toughest thing for a woman who is undergoing chemotherapy or radiation is the loss of her hair. And I want to encourage my viewers to go to the website and the YouTube channel, because there are just countless stories of people's journey. Here's one of my favorite.
I want to let you in on a secret. I was just recently diagnosed with cancer, and because of the chemotherapy, I've been losing my hair. This is a wig. She just stood back and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I said, "Oh, please don't." I said, I have never gotten so many compliments before in my life. I knew it was something I could not handle on my own. So I went to God in prayer. I said, I need you, I need your help. And I found this verse that has really carried me through, and it says that those who put their trust in the Lord will not fear a bad report. And so I just kind of took that in and held on to it. And throughout this journey of having hair loss and surgery and chemo, I have not had fear. The hardest thing was when she put a net over my regular hair and I saw what I would look like without hair. I felt like a deer caught in the headlights. And then as soon as I put this wig on, it was almost as if I was transformed again back into what I called a normal state. And everyone, I believe, walks this journey differently, and I have no advice for any other woman other than do it your way. Do it what is the most comfortable way for you. But for me, it was to try to maintain normality in my life, a consistency, and I did find that through the wigs. In my normal, I had a lot of bad hair days, a lot of bad hair days. And now I do not have one bad hair day. The other thing that it's helped me is now I can forget about myself. I can forget about how I look and just go on and then focus on other people. I will continue, even once my hair comes back in, I will continue to wear wigs because I love the way I feel.
Wow. Okay, I wish you could see her eyes right now because they're kind of welling up. Tell us why this is so emotional for you.
I have a lump in my throat. You don't even really need me here. Her story is everything because it normalized something for her while she was going through the huge. Sometimes I'm a little embarrassed to say wigs can change everything because you're dealing with something so big like cancer or an autoimmune disease, and it seems so trite to say, oh, a wig can be your solution, but it normalizes you. And sometimes when you're going through rough waters, just something to hold on to feels, and I look normal today, can be that something.
Yes.
And Marilyn did it perfectly. She conveyed the confidence, and she kind of took back some control over the craziness that was going on around her. And it can change everything. And I'm really glad you shared that one. That's one of my favorites.
I know you can't take the cancer away, but you can do something that gives them the confidence to continue living their life while they're fighting. So thank you so much for that. We also have a picture of a check presentation. I want you to talk about this. You have a relationship with breastcancer.org. Mm-hmm. And how long have you been working with them?
Oh, well, at least 4 years, I believe, at this point. 18. Yeah, 4 or 5 years at this point. And I think it's important because it is such a easy cancer to grab a hold of and detect early if we take those steps. And so it's important to bring awareness there. We have a huge audience, thankfully. And so we do our part to point to them and make hopefully a little bit of difference for a few people.
Absolutely, and it's really critical now because so many women skipped their mammography during the pandemic, and really every day counts when it comes to breast cancer.
Sometimes it can make the difference, for sure.
We're almost out of time, so I want to give you some closing thoughts about your life and your legacy, because I can tell what you're doing is a ministry for you. It's you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great word. Absolutely true.
So final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
I don't know that I have anything that earth-shattering to say, but I will say that every woman deserves to feel good about themselves. And again, I said it earlier, confidence is everything. And it doesn't matter how God made us physically. It's what happens in here that makes the difference on how we look and how we feel. And it's a little thing like hair, but it's a big thing when it comes to, especially women. It's our, what's the saying my grandmother used to say, it's our crown and glory, right? It's all of us out there. You walk out with a good hair day or a bad hair day, it makes a little bit of a difference. It's a difference on where your shoulders go, right? Don't look at me, my hair looks like crap, or hey, I feel like I look good.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do, just help people find they're beautiful.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us and your journey. We're going to end with the website, which is wigs.com. Thanks so much, Carliz, for coming on the show.
Thank you. That was good.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.